Hi, John.
Hey, Alex.
Do you want to know what I hate?
What's that?
I don't know, maybe soot spirits? They seem a little, kind of annoying.
Oh, I think they're lovely. I think they're cute. They got little eyeballs, and they shepherd you to death.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. They do shepherd you to death. I was just more thinking, I hate sweeping. But you know who I love is my neighbor Totoro.
I want a monster to be my playmate. I want a monster to be my friend. I want to get for my own pet a real live monster who's not pretend. No, I want a monster to be.
I love that man.
Man,
Well, thing.
I don't know about that.
What'd you call him last time? Koji's? Kami's.
Kami's, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I know we don't have the biggest audience in the world, but the fact that no one corrected me on that makes me feel like I got close enough that it was like, for Gaijin, he got most of the stuff right.
Yeah. Although it is fun to, if you're listening to a podcast, to just yell the answer out to nobody.
That's true. So My Neighbor Totoro is another classic of Mr. Hayao Miyazaki.
Mm-hmm. One of his earliest releases, stateside, thanks to Troma.
Yeah, I think I had heard that somewhere. That's true that Lloyd Kaufman's company distributed this.
Yeah, there's the thing where Streamline Pictures had it, and any sort of old VHS anime person would probably be familiar with Streamline Pictures, but they got rights to the dub, but then for distribution rights, a different company underneath Troma. It was one of their companies, but it was essentially Troma.
So the makers of Toxic Avenger, Star Trek Kabuki Pen, NYPD, Romeo and Juliet bring you My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah, very very much a different kind of movie than they're used to.
So here's the first question to you. Which version did you watch?
I watched the subtitled one.
I watched the modern American dubbed one.
Right, like the Disney released dub.
Yeah, the one, because it's with the Fanning sisters.
Yes.
Play Mei and Satsuki. Yeah. So it's Satsuki. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's Satsuki is the kid from the other one.
Yeah, your best friend.
Yes, my best friend, greatest kid in the world. Although the annoying kid from here just essentially is the same kid. It's just like an adorable kid with a sailor hat. I'm like, yeah, I think that's just my aesthetic.
Yeah, you got a type.
If I ever go back in time and get to be like a 10-year-old Japanese boy, I'm gonna wear the shit out of some kind of sailor cap.
Yeah, why wait? Start now. Worked for George R. R. Martin, and he's not a Japanese kid.
I gotta tell you, I've seen Totoro. Between this and Spirited Away, I've seen the most. And I think I've only seen the Fanning's version. This is my second time. And I quite enjoyed it. I was in love with the original dub. The original subtitle version was the one that I watched originally, years ago. And that was like such a place in my heart. But I'm like, maybe for the show I'll do the fancy Disney-fied one. And let me tell you, at Disney, they know what they're doing.
Which is very funny because when it first came out in 1993, Variety, a critic for Variety named Leonard Klady, Klady, did not care for it. And in fact, called the animation like clunky. The muted pastels, homogenized pictorial style, and vapid storyline all add up to an extremely lonely neighborhood when Totoro moves into theaters. With half a century of Disney's full animation at one's disposal, the rigid backgrounds and limited character movements appear dull and crude when viewed on a large screen.
So he is really dumb and wrong about everything he just said. That's like those people that like you read like the people that gave like The Godfather a bad review, or like one of those movies that is just like it's just known, it's accepted that this is a classic.
Yeah.
Like Totoro is like, even if this isn't your aesthetic, this thing is a fucking genius piece of like, this is just art.
Yeah. I think it's fantastic. It is probably of the three we've watched my favorite. Porco Rosso's close. I think it's neck and neck, but I think this might have pushed ahead a little bit.
Yeah, I think of this whole oeuvre, I think Spirited Away is my favorite. It's just that one was done to death, so I didn't want to do it on the show. It feels like we're not going to bring anything remotely new to it. Mm-hmm. Between that and Totoro, I go back and forth. But like after watching Totoro, I'm like, oh, this is obviously my favorite. And then till I see Spirited Away next time, and then I'm going to say that was obviously
what was
my favorite.
I thinking? It's great. Like Miyazaki himself said that he wanted a happy and heartwarming film, a film that lets the audience go home with pleasant, glad feelings. Lovers will feel each other to be more precious. Parents will fondly recall their childhoods, and children will start exploring the thickets behind shrines and climbing trees to try to find a Totoro.
Yeah.
I did none of those things, but I still very much enjoyed it.
Well, I was an outdoor kid. A lot of this young person exploration really spoke to me. That's the way I remember my youth. I had a lot of secret woods-based hiding spaces. I often would find monsters in the woods. I don't know if you know this, but you know how I harp on about people with weird teeth on the show? It's because I was abducted by a Totoro when I was a kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But let's just say that his ears, they work just like what they look like. Because Totoro's ears look like
Yeah,
butt
no,
plugs.
I got
You
it.
get it?
Yeah.
You got it?
Yep. Yeah,
John,
I did not
they look
need
like
that
butt plugs.
explained. Already unhappy.
Because the audience might need it explained. So, see, a butt plug is cylindrical. Imagine a Christmas tree made out of pain and horniness. All right, so let's talk about this child's movie.
Yeah, let's get to that.
Here's something that I think a lot of modern kind of Portland people would love. One of the first things we get from the movie is a subtle "all cops are bastards."
Oh yes, yeah.
Because they're riding the car. She's like, hide, hide.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, sorry, I thought you were a cop. Hello, friendly neighbor.
Yeah. No, I like that. There's some weird theories about when this exactly is supposed to take place that people have narrowed it down to. I want to say it was 1955 or something like that. Miyazaki has kind of said as much. It's supposed to be kind of like his childhood, but I feel like it's just a place somewhere. Obviously, it's Japanese. There's kanji and stuff places, but I don't think it's really meant to be a specific time. Other than it's pretty free from technology, which was also kind of a pleasant change.
Yeah, I had that thought of. I haven't seen the recent Miyazaki, but I'm sure they don't have it. But how much these would be. I mean, how I think basically storytelling was ruined by the advent of cellular technology. Of how much it would suck to have a cell phone in a Miyazaki movie.
Oh yeah,
it just was just the magic immediately shut down.
Right, yeah. Just getting posting Totoro to the gram, getting them likes.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, they'd have him on stupid tapes, and people would be arguing about how blurry he is. He probably would show up blurry like that snooty Bigfoot that hangs out around here.
Selfish prima donna.
Yeah, exactly. Let us take a fucking picture, jerk. It's been a while.
I before we even get into the movie, I do like the opening credits with just the goofy kind of animation loop of May marching and the little spiderweb stuff undulating. The little figures that show up experience a little bit of body horror as they change into the word Totoro. There's these little animated
yes,
kind of swell,
correct.
and some look like they're screaming, but it's cute. It's Totoro.
Well, that's another thing of we talked about it with the Kami and how it's this universe that if thought about slightly differently would be horrific.
Yes.
And Totoro's that same thing where, I mean, yeah, he's magical or whatever, but it's this screaming monster that lives in the woods that low key abducts little girls. Yeah.
Right. There is a theory that he's this sort of god of death and that they have both died or are close to death. And that's why they can see him and the little boy can't. This kind of crap went on so much that at some point, Studio Ghibli, in 2007, Studio Ghibli had to release a statement that said, "There's no need to be alarmed. There's absolutely no truth or configuration that Totoros are the gods of death or that May is dead in My Neighbor Totoro."
Well, that's a weird read.
Yeah, because the theory is that she's already dead and that her sister dies on searching for her. Because there's also this whole theory about how the cat bus, we can get into later. The cat bus is creepy as hell, I think. But how it has one of its stops is Grave Road, and that the dust bunnies, or whatever you call them, the soot sprites, they show up when you're close to death, and you see them at the beginning. But then also the only other time you see them is when she's running to try to find May, and then she crosses the path of some cross her path. And then there's also this, it ties into this other theory that there was a murder around this alleged same time in real life in Sayama, which there's indications that might be where this actually takes place. This girl was killed, so they think that it was this is supposed to be kind of about that too. I don't know. It's like, just enjoy it, people. Just relax. And it's a sweet movie. Just let it be a sweet movie.
Yeah. What's interesting is the town name Yama is a name for a god of death. So that's interesting right there.
So here's a question I have. You mentioned calling out to you being an outdoor kid and running around and being outside. I guess this is probably more of a question for actual children, because like this sort of seems like an adult view of children. Well, and like, would children identify this? Because like I do absolutely, it conjures up memories for me just of my own and just being around people with kids. The thing where little kids' reactions to everything is to run around and scream. That it's any stimuli, and that's what they do. And I wonder if little kids see this and be like, hell yeah, yes, that rules. That's absolutely what to do.
I would assume, though, I think you'll be shocked to learn I was rather curmudgeonly and quiet when I was a kid. So
get out of town.
But it was outdoors a lot. My parents, they like to kindly refer to it as didn't like me much. So just kind of would send me out. Yeah.
Nice.
Come back by dinner, and even that's just a suggestion. Just if you ever in that white van they tell you about at school, just get in the back.
Yeah, if you see tired. A house on chicken legs, hop on.
Oh yeah,
gingerbread house, go to it.
Here's the thing about the Baba Yaga. I think I could talk to her. I think I could turn her. I think that maybe she needs a sidekick.
Spit that truth, yes.
Baba Yaga and Baba Bolin. Yeah. And I could just be like the evil man inside of the chicken house. Children already fear me.
Yeah, inexplicably. So you've given them no particular reasons to.
When May and Sasuke and Dad get to the house, one of the running things is that a small seed from a tree is a big part, which I'm from New Jersey, so I pronounce them eggcorns. And it is disgusting to me, and I just want to tell everybody that I'm going to try saying it the right way. I've been trying to get rid of that word my entire fucking life, but I'm just going to embarrass myself. So, yeah.
Eggcorn.
Here's the thing, though. If you think about it, you know the color of a corn kernel?
Uh-huh.
Like in a bag of popcorn?
Yeah.
Now make that the shape of an egg. That looks exactly like a corn.
Okay.
So egg corn.
But it's acorn.
I know. I'm aware of that. That's why I gave the fucking preamble. I'm just saying that, like, it's not like one of those mispronunciations that makes no sense. Like, if you look like...
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Imagine a corn kernel, like from a bag of popcorn, in the shape of an egg. That looks like an eggcorn.
Okay, but...
Acorn.
Right, but it's an acorn. It's not...
No, I get it. But, like, you know, like eggplant. Eggplant's fucking purple. That doesn't make any sense. Then I'd be an asshole. So if they look nothing like the combination of egg and corn, yes, I could. So I'm just saying I'm going to sound like a New Jersey asshole. Gabagool, forget about it, etc. But just there's reasons for it. I think the Japanese would understand because their character set is based around little pictures and you combine the phonetics between it. I think they would understand eggcorn very well.
Let's hope so. Let's hope someone's on your side for this.
Anyway, so I'm going to laboriously say they find acorns. Can you say it right?
Acorn.
Acorn. Ugh. It's just. All right. So they find oak cum on their way into the house. And are they supposed to be talismanic of something? Talismanic. What you know what the word I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, is there like I don't know, is there something else to it? Because they seem to have like a glowing kind of magic property, but also they're just kind of oak cum.
Yeah, I think in this case it's supposed to
oak
be
ovaries, excuse me.
That it's supposed to be like a little somewhat magical, just in the sense that, hey, here's a weird thing in the house. I think, you know, visually it was just trying to give it a little oomph. I don't know. I don't know if specifically there's a read of like, well, yes, this acorn represents this, that, or the other than, you know, them getting back to nature and them being excited about nature.
Well, that's right. I mean, I kind of asked because of the whole death theory you're running with, that maybe like in Japanese culture that had like some kind of like, oh, that's like a grave good or something. Like
nothing I've seen uses that as a reference point. I do think that the grave theory is nonsense. But
no, that's total bullshit. But like, I do like total bullshit theories that work. Like,
sure.
Every time I read about the Darth Jar Jar theory, I'm convinced of it until like 2 weeks later when I'm like, nah, it's stupid. But there's so much good evidence. Like it's so good. It's such a good. So I like dumb theories that like obviously they're not true, but it's like, wow, you really did a good job with that.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff that drives me nuts because I think that we talked about this a little bit on the last episode with like the Reddit film theories. Is like that kind of crap can be fun. You know, there was a period of time where Cracked.com had a regular feature of that where they would kind of like spin off some weird theory about like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like that based on the movies. And it was just like a fun, goofy way to do it. But then people were like, no, this is actually how you review films. And like, this is the actual meaning of it rather than kind of acknowledging, much like I had just posted, if you follow us on Twitter at JossPod, there was a symposium for Boss Baby where people had these theories, but like they all knew that it's kind of silly and fun. And I 100% support that. Like, you know, rather than being like, I think I've solved Boss Baby.
Yeah, we really should have sent you.
Yeah, that would have been so much
symposium.
fun. Yeah, I just didn't even know it was happening until after it was happened. Because
I know how much you love Symposia. I know how much you love Boss Baby. Yes. I know how much you love having terrible theories, as dictated by the past 118 episodes.
Yeah, it all works together. Now, if there's if there's some way that I think next year I could probably get invited if I can somehow tie it to the Minions, work that in. I think that would. You know, that they actually appear in the same universe or something.
I would like to interrupt our show right now, early in the show, to thank multiple people who have been posting our episodes on their very Facebook and Twitter feeds. Because I have asked very politely, and by politely I mean I berated the audience to do this, because that is the only way anybody's ever going to find the show. And people did it.
That's your love language.
Yes. But that warmed the depths of my cold, just disgusting, petrified, the venom from the Twilight series filled heart. It was very nice to see people like share stuff. So thank you who did that. And, you know, everybody else that didn't do that, just, you know, it's okay if you don't want to like give a depressed guy like a small amount of joy, even though it, you know, literally costs you nothing. That's fine. That's a cool way to live. Yeah.
Works for me.
I think you post sometimes about the show.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Probably.
And your name's in the title.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Here is something that, so here I'm just going to give a list of things that like hurt my soul watching this movie. One, John, you and I need to move in together and adopt some kids because they're adorable. Mm-hmm. Two, I need a time machine to get a better dad because that dad, like there's this, I don't have the exact quote, but it's like, Dad, come inside. There's weird shit happening. And he's like, oh, that's great. I've always wanted to live in a haunted house.
Yeah.
Like oh, Dad, you're so cool.
Yeah, unbelievably supportive of their goofy stuff. Then like when they're worried about ghosts and stuff like that, he's like, let's laugh to chase the ghosts away. And then they're all just in the tub laughing.
Yeah, it's so great.
It's so just heartwarming without being cloying and treacly. It's just sweet.
Yeah, and he's like an archaeologist, so he's got like a cool job.
Yeah.
He rides a bike. I mean, he's like the dad I always wanted. And I'm not the audience at home. I'm not adopted. It's just I'm from New Jersey. My dad was therefore very racist.
Yeah. Well, you know, he might have been. You don't know. We just didn't get to see that side of him. Like, I'll tell you what's scary. Immigration.
One of the things I love about any movie that takes place in Japan in the past, and this happens in a lot of kung fu movies, and kung fu might not be Japanese, whatever, martial arts movies, is that during the training process, they do that thing where they have to clean the floors by running with a wet mop, a wet towel under their hands, and then just kind of running with their feet.
Yes.
And it's like, man, the past must be great. I mean, that would be terrible doing it. My back hurts just thinking about it. But like, it's such a cool visual.
It did make me want to clean my house. Like, it's one of those things where, you know, you watch a movie and someone's having some delicious food or something. You're like, oh man, that looks good. I would love to have some pasta or whatever. It was that. It was, I'm watching the movie and the whole time I'm like, man, I can't wait till this is over. I'm going to clean my house. And I did. I cleaned up the kitchen, but you know, it's still just like not as gratifying as it looks in the movie.
Yeah. I wish I could like co-sign with that one, but I've definitely had I would like some ramen. I've definitely had I would like to escape with the wood spirits. I would like a better father. All that happens, but like cleaning, nah, it's never.
Yeah. Normally it's a no sale for me, but somehow Miyazaki did it again.
Just on a small note, and I totally get this is cultural difference. May's head Austin Powersing her dad's dick in the tub was very uncomfortable for me because I didn't grow up where that was normal, and that is The fact that they used her head to block his junk just
Right.
really, really, I don't like it. I don't like it.
I get it. I mean, yeah, it is. I remember reading something about that too, about people being like not stoked about that, but just that I don't know. Since the movie's so like innocent and fine anyway, I just kind of went, yeah, that probably is just a.
You know, no, it is because they're not Puritan assholes that
Yeah.
ruined the most natural thing in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up in a Puritan asshole country, and natural things are ruined for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just but I just but the reason it popped out is like, oh man, our country's like all sorts of fuck that like
Yeah.
that's where my head goes, you know.
Yeah.
But also, to be fair, it is a weird choice. Like maybe just get some bubbles.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean, no, it's not a weird choice. Again, it's my puritanical weirdness.
Yeah, but I mean, like this country also makes hentai, so who's to say what's weird?
Um,
Me. That's
Jesus.
it. Also him, I guess.
Oh wait, they don't believe in Jesus over there. So like Jesus plus some kind of like nature spirit.
Yeah,
Jesus
me.
and Totoro.
Yeah. Yeah, which brings us to an interesting point. This is another Miyazaki movie featuring essentially a single parent. You had this in Porco Rosso to some degree, in the like you didn't like the firebrand redheaded young lady was hanging out with her uncle or whatever the hell that guy was, and then in Ponyo, he lived with his mom Lisa. Dad was gone a lot. Ponyo herself, parents weren't together. They're with their dad because their mom is in the hospital, which I guess was based on a lot of this is based on Miyazaki's own situation where his mother was ill and hospitalized with a spinal tuberculosis.
It's one of those time machine moments for me that like tuberculosis feels. I mean, I know it still like exists, but it feels
Right.
like that being like a thing to worry about is from the Eldritch just a million years ago times where it's like,
Yeah.
no, a guy that's still making like running $1 billion industry, his mom had it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah.
Seemed like some pioneer stuff or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you died of dysentery crossing, on your way into the Oregon territory, and then you got tuberculosis. Not, fucking planes existed.
Yeah. But I think in this one, the mom's in the hospital for encephalitis because her head is gigantic. And I know that's not supposed to be the takeaway, but every time they went to the mom in the hospital, I'm like, her forehead is huge. She has like a
I feel
giant
personally attacked
brain.
right now. Like, let's not talk about like giant foreheads.
Well, look, I have a sizable noggin too, but it was
I didn't
just,
notice her head. Toro mom. Oh my god. Holy she has a giant fucking head.
She's got a giant head.
Oh, that's totally encephalitis. I should call her doctor.
Yeah. And so like I know that wasn't the intention, and it didn't I tried not to let it take away from the drama concerning her, but I could not get over. And then like you can kind of tell in Satsuki that's like a similar kind of design, but just the way they did the hair makes more sense. Like
Yeah,
it just
no,
makes it seem more natural. This is like
She looks like she's going to develop telepathic powers.
yeah. She's gonna like get mad at the Incredible Hulk. It's amazing.
Wow.
So this movie's garbage now.
Yeah, I know. What a piece of shit. I can't believe I made us watch this. I didn't know there was people with large heads.
Yeah.
Can we start a new thing where you get obsessed with people with large foreheads just so you could have a thing that's like body weird?
Yeah, I would love to get more crazy. That would be awesome. That would be
Yeah, but the fact that like the regular audience has picked up on the fact that I bring up teeth a lot, like makes me concerned. So like I need it's one thing where you know it, but like when the rest of the audience knows it too.
It's not saying we talk about it a lot.
Yeah, but I don't expect these fucking idiot plebs that listen to us. I just figure we throw the slop down the well on top of them, tell them to retweet our shit, and they go home fat and happy with their big fucking foreheads. But when they know about my teeth issues.
Just remember that I'm the good one.
Oh yeah, you're the good one. Oh wait, why did I say that sarcastically? It's like objectively true.
Well, but I was just making fun of a woman in the hospital for having a large head. I do like though with the stuff with the mom in the hospital, like how that's handled in this way that you aren't given an idea of why she's there.
Yeah.
It's a little bit serious. They keep telling the kids, well, she has a cold, or at least that's what they told her when she went in there. And it makes me think of like there was a time where my mom is a cancer survivor, and I was a bit older than these kids when it happened. But I remember like I think the stories they told me just to kind of like we don't need to have you freak out about it too. We're managing this.
No, I thought the mom stuff was done really well. And I like the, I don't know. I like the idea of, there's like this kind of yin yang feminine energy thing of her being in the hospital and the kids kind of taking over the kind of role, but it doesn't really, it's like, I would need to be a bigger nerd and write a 10-page thing on it in college. And instead I'm just going to make some kind of pederast joke because that's what I'm here for.
Well, I do like how it's the way it's treated, and this is kind of an overall thing, is how this is sort of a hangout picture. You know, like there's not, the plot isn't like mom is in the hospital and we got to make this work and we're struggling with this and that. It's just, hey, we're moving and this is just a snapshot of our lives in this time. And, you get a little bit of the story, a little bit of drama later when they can't find May, but it still is not like heavy on plot. It just kind of is,
it's a hanging out picture.
Yeah. And
it's like once upon a time in Hollywood we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, very different version of it, but
yeah.
The only thing this movie needs, and I'm not saying they need to like redo it, but how much better would it be if they had like a gearing up sequence? Where it's like they're about to go into the woods and they put on like, I don't know, like a cute helmet and like a backpack. And that like the serious hardcore, we're about to break into a bank gearing up sequence, but it's just two little girls about to go in the woods.
So you just want to play dress up with some dolls.
I mean, yes, but I feel like what I was saying had like a little bit more plot to it.
Quite possibly. I just wanted it to mean you to look big.
Yeah. As Alex puts the BMO doll that's currently on the table away. I had this thought that, all right, so the mom's sick or whatever, and we get the first, May goes off and meets Totoro. And it's funny because you bring up the May's dead thing, because I have a note that how funny would it be that, not funny, but in a different kind of fucked up version of the movie, where May goes off with Totoro just eats her. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of the movie, he's hanging out with Satsuki going, oh, let's find her. And it's like, it's the same upbeat, adventurous fun. Everything's got that lovely soundtrack, but like he's literally digesting his sister. Her sister was
dark. That is dark.
Well, welcome to my brain.
I couldn't help but think, based on our previous conversation about Ponyo and Kami and all that, is I remembered when I watched this in like, 2004 or whatever, I remember being kind of like put off by Totoro, thinking that he was just kind of weird, because I think I was probably more used to your Disney animated movies, basically, and so expecting him to be like the genie from Aladdin or something like that.
Like actually speaking a language other than just burping his name.
Or just like react to things, because he's always just sort of at an odd distance. You're not real sure what he's going to do, which now I like. I enjoy that immensely, but I think when I first saw it, I had certain expectations that this movie obviously did not meet.
Yeah, and that's what I like about that Kami concept of it's just kind of like, it's just a thing that's there.
Yeah.
It just does what it does. It got nothing to do with you. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the whole scene where a little bit later, where they're waiting for her dad at the bus stop, and Totoro is next to them, and she gives him the umbrella, and just like him figuring out how to use the umbrella is cute, but it's also kind of alien and strange. Like it's weird because like you can't really read the expression on his face at first, and then when you see the little like anime rosy cheeks thing, you're like, oh, okay, I guess this is good.
Well, I mean, sort of, because this goes back to Liam Neeson and Ponyo, where he's basically just, I'm just going to wipe out the world because there's better in the pre-Cambrian. It's Totoro likes the sound of rain and an umbrella, so he just stomps the earth, endangering the children near him, endangering the natural balance just because he finds it amusing. Like you could move that a step further and it gets into like David Lynchian stuff.
Yeah, I guess I took it that like he knows what he's doing. Like he's having fun, but he knows what he's doing.
He doesn't strike me as somebody that knows what he's doing.
He's the king of the forest.
I mean, kind of.
That's
like asshole can like jump forever. He's still gonna ride a stupid top like a goddamn asshole.
Yep, assholes ride tops.
John, you want to like really?
No, I know what I did. But I love the of the Totoros, because there's the big Totoro, the like blue medium sized one, and then the little white blobby guys. And I like the little blobby guys.
Blobby guys are great. I like a little white blobby guy. Like it's like he's like the infant one.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that for a second. Are they Totoros, or is the guy Totoro and they're like a species we don't know the name of?
Well, they reference the reason she thinks he's called that, and why she thinks he burped his name, is that it's in a picture book she has. I think they were supposed to be like forest goblins or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So I think they are Totoro. Like they are all Totoros.
So, I mean, the main question is, so if I kill the main Totoro for his meat,
Mm-hmm.
there will be more Totoro to replace.
I believe so.
Oh, good. Because he looks delicious.
Yeah. I mean, unless those are permanently in that state, or maybe there's some kind of dark thing where they will ascend when the big one dies. The middle, they move up the pyramid.
I hope so. Because I don't want this to be the one time I dream of children forever looking like children and go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I hate myself a lot.
Yeah, that's what Miyazaki movies are doing to you. It's
Yeah,
great. Just
really.
unfettered joy just crushes you, just cuts you like a hot knife.
It is. So here's the problem. Okay, one, I just realized what I just said could have sounded like I was making like a kid fucking joke. That was literally me just like lamenting being 41 and just I just want to be a kid, just be in the woods, and just have life in front of me, and not just be like just every day go to work and just kind of wait to die. Like oh Totoro, take me away.
Yep. Yeah.
Though right now Totoro walked in, I would fucking shit myself.
That would be terrifying. Yeah. Dealing with a real Totoro would be scary.
Oh, by the way, do you think Totoro is based on a real thing? Because I was just thinking how Snorlax is basically Totoro.
No, like he basically tried to make it on a combination of bears and owls.
Oh, I didn't mean, sorry, I didn't mean a real thing. I meant existing mythology.
No, it's just
Okay.
like,
So I think Snorlax is totally ripped off Totoro, or Totoro ripped off Snorlax.
which is funny because the movie really didn't do much when it first opened up, but then they started making dolls of Totoro, and everyone loved the dolls and went, "Oh, what's this from?" So then got into the movie.
Well, one of the great things about Miyazaki is that he could go full Matt Groening and just license Totoro and all the Ghibli stuff. He refuses to. So like every year, I think it's like $35 million is the limit you can make off of Miyazaki Ghibli merchandise. So like there isn't an infinite number of Totoro dolls you can buy. Like there's X number. At some point there was like a bit of a scandal because they're actually making more and he got real pissed off. But like he's like real picky about that to not like flood the market, which I think is just more towards the like maybe like Miyazaki is some kind of like kami like creature.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that didn't stop me from getting that decal on my car of Totoro pissing on the Chevy logo.
We got a detail on my car of Calvin peeing on Totoro, weirdly enough. But Totoro's got like a real, like, he's got a look on his face where you know he's kind of into it.
Well, he's wearing a ball gag.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he matches his ears.
No, absolutely not.
Cool. I don't remember why I wrote this, but at some point someone says back when trees and people used to be friends, which actually like kind of hurt my heart.
Yeah, the dad says that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a beautiful line.
Yeah. Which, again, would put this more... The theory that this sort of takes place in the 50s is that a lot of Japan's industrial boom kind of in their rebuilding took away a lot of forest land.
Yeah.
So, yeesh.
Oh, I thought they were talking about the very underread novel Periphery by Alex Bolin, available on Amazon.com.
Yeah.
In which trees and people are friends.
Well, and he knew about it ahead of time. That's what good of an artist he is, a prescient. Actually, he's like, some guy is going to cry a lot watching my movie, so I better plug his book.
Yeah, really appreciate that. Thank you, Miyazaki. Big ups.
Big shout out to my homie.
John, say something, because I'm totally lost.
Most of the movie, is May. She sees Totoro, tries to convince the family that she saw Totoro, and then we mentioned the umbrella scene. That's how Satsuki meets him, and he gives her this little packet of a little gift, and it ends up being a bunch of seeds and nuts, and they bury it in the yard.
I believe they were egg corns.
They were egg corns,
Thank
which
you.
makes sense because they look like corn eggs. But this sequence I loved, where they see there. It's not clear whether or not it was a dream, and I like how they don't really focus on that too much. On this whole, like, is it real? Is what they're seeing real? They just go, no, it is. It's fine. But where Totoro and his squadron of little dudes or whatever, the two other guys, are helping doing a dance to help the plants grow, and then they join in, which was very delightfully redone on an episode of Bob's Burgers. They kind of reenact that where Bob is making a Thanksgiving turkey, and like a giant Thanksgiving turkey, like they go through the same thing and makes like a giant beanstalk grow or whatever. But there's also like you can't help but notice that the tree that they grow, the giant tree, looks like a mushroom cloud. Whether or not that's intentional, I don't know, but that crossed my mind, which I suppose would go to the Totoro as a god of death thing, but I think it's just a cool tree.
Yeah, or he's like really into Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it works too. Because it's like 89. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the weird little flutes they play, and that they had enough for Mei and Sasuke to play as well.
That dance thing is great because it just reminds me of, not reminds me, but it brings to mind that like kind of early religious structure where, like, what if gods were real? They saw them dancing,
What
and
if
that's
God
where
was
like
one of
early.
us? Just a slob like one of us.
I sure would like to meet her. Is that the one where like the big hook is that I?
No, those are different ones. That's Joan Osborne, and then the
Oh,
one you're
that's
thinking
it.
of, I think is Dishwalla maybe. Yeah, that one's such like a guy on the quad trying to get laid. Like,
Yeah.
oh, tell me about God, because I'd like to meet her.
Yeah, I love that. Just like the big reveal.
Yeah.
What the hell was I saying? Oh no, like let's say you're like primitive man, like Australopithecine or like Neanderthal or Australopithecus or
been called
other
worse.
fancy words, and you see these creatures dancing around, and it makes the crops come up. I just in my head, fast forward, we're at like fucking Sunday Mass. I'm just like, oh, if I do this exact motion, it'll please the gods. The plants will come up. Well, no, that exact motion is now a prayer, and then the prayer is in a building, and then the building is, and then you're a million miles away. But it's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is so like primal religious thing. I very much enjoy it as someone with too much time in their hands.
Well, and because I like you can't specifically enjoy things. I couldn't help but think about this being made now in an American like DreamWorks or Disney kind of thing, where Totoro would be voiced by Chris Pratt. The dance number would be a whole thing,
Yeah.
with jokes that even adults can enjoy.
Here's where you're slightly wrong. I mean, everything you're saying is right, except Totoro would obviously be Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
They're having Chris Pratt voice everything, so
Yeah.
I went for the easy one.
No. I mean, it's you're 100% right. But
Yeah.
here's something that would be interesting, and it's something that I think if we ever do Pixar movies, we could bring this up. Is that I think Pixar could have made a modern Totoro and have it be fine.
Yeah, well, they were the closest to, or at least in their earlier days. They were heavily influenced by Miyazaki, and like, yeah, definitely
That
there's
makes
a lot more of
sense.
that going on.
Because like Wall-E is like Wall-E could be a Miyazaki movie. I mean, it couldn't be, but like
Right.
just this. There's like no dialogue for the first 45 minutes, and it's just it's kind of a Miyazaki-esque movie. Though I don't want to watch or sit through Pixar movies, so don't think that's an idea. Unless, and I can't stress this enough, if you sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/AlexBolin, with 2 X's, and tell us you want us to watch a movie, you've given us money, and I feel we're obligated to do it. So there is incentive right there.
You know what? Let's split the difference. Let's remake this. But basically, it's the same movie, but soundtrack by Randy Newman. Just some
That would be
original
kinda fun.
songs. I hate that guy.
Like big bears, they're sleeping in a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think we got a hit on our hands.
It's pretty good Randy Newman impression.
Yeah.
Assuming he's the guy that sung Short People, because I couldn't think of
Yes.
who Randy Newman
Yes,
was.
that's-
Okay, perfect. All right, then what I just did made sense. And even if it didn't, don't care. I think people like hearing me sing badly because it's fun to embarrass yourself on mic.
I wouldn't know.
Oh, John, We put these out in public.
What? What?
Yeah. All those plugs where I ask people to like listen and stuff, they like that. That's true.
I thought it was you were just committing to the bit. Crap.
Yeah. No, honestly, how infrequently I remember to plug this fucking show or like tell people to go to like the Twitter or whatever. Like I commit to bits much better. They just have to be ones based around me coming across as some kind of fucking predator. Here's something that I think we cannot go away from because I feel like people like hearing my biological clock tick. Kenta, the little boy with the hat, him riding a bike that's too big for him, that he has to stick his leg through.
Yes.
That's like, I mean, there's nothing cuter in the universe. Like that was like the greatest thing ever.
It's that, but it's also just like this clever little piece of animation. So he's trying to find. So Sasuke has run off trying to find Mei, who's gone missing because they had a fight. Mei's trying to bring corn to her mom in the hospital, and got lost. Sasuke's trying to find her. Then the kid is trying to find her, and he's got her dad's bike, and he's kind of straddling the down tube. I think that's the right part of it. But his leg is sticking through the hole in the center of those two tubes on the bike make, and he's just sort of he's not pedaling. He's just sort of pushing forward enough to get like enough forward motion. And just you didn't have to do it. You could just have him awkwardly ride the bike. But the fact that you did, I don't know, gave it so much more sense of a place of a person interacting with a real thing, and I mean as well as just sort of being adorable.
Yeah,
but
it also gives like him more personality. He's the type of kid that'll go the extra mile. Like now that he knows these people, he's committing to panicking and riding his bike and trying to find the sister. It's
Well, I always think about stuff like that. Always makes me think of there's an episode of Futurama, the one where they go back in time to like Roswell, and just because they called it out on the commentary, there's a part where the professor and Leela are like at a cafe, and the whole like. Leela just like looks bored and is playing with the salt shaker while like other people are talking, and they're like, oh, I like that little like acting there they had Leela do rather than just have her sit there.
Yeah.
And just little things like that you because I know if it was me, I would just try to find a shortcut, but I like that he took the time to do that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice that everybody isn't as lazy as us.
Yeah.
Like that other people put the work in. Which, by the way, just because I would like to feel like I actually have a memory, Roswell That Ends Well, I believe is the name of that episode.
That is correct. That is that very episode.
Because as I think anybody that's listened to this show, and especially people that listen to the Alex Cast, I used to remember things and could speak in full sentences, and that's gone. And it's nice every now and again where my brain will kind of resurrect itself for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, like I used to make fun of people. Like I used to date this girl, and I remember her parents called the Nutty Professor Nutty Love, and I thought that was hilarious. But
that's actually pretty clever, honestly.
Yeah, but that's like that's what I do now. Like that's how I remember things. Or just my brain is just given up. It's like, look, we don't need this information anymore. This doesn't matter.
You heard it here first. The way John remembers stuff is throw nutty love on it.
Throw some nutty love on it.
Oh, so here's a question for you. Just because I brought up me being an asshole. You think that Totoro has a cloaca?
I don't think he goes to the bathroom at all.
What about reproduction?
Nope.
Well, how do the little Totoros come about?
Seeds, different kind of seeds from trees, special tree seeds.
They
do a dance and it causes a seed to grow. So that's kind of it. Or maybe they're like planarians where like they're actually sections of Totoro that have been like chopped off by tigers, forest tigers.
Oh, I feel like that's probably the best one. Yeah.
And then they don't necessarily like grow back, but they do become like their own little, they won't become full-size Totoro that way. But this is a good segue to talk about, speaking of sort of weird transformations of magical creatures' bodies, the cat bus.
Oh, I was about to say, we need to talk about cat
and
bus.
how creepy the cat bus is.
Yes.
And this is, I love cats. I am a cat owner. There are currently in my house at this moment 4 cats, only 2 of which are ours. We have a cat door and other cats come in and hang out. We do not feed them, but it is a flop house for cats. But this cat bus, not only just the multiple legs, that already in and of itself is creepy. The fact that it is the body of it does look like a bus and it like can change and open so that the Totoros and the little girls can get on. It's the rats that operate as lights. Are those just sitting on the cat bus? Because it looks like their tails are attached to the cat bus. are these growths out of the cat bus.
Yeah, it looked like cancerous growths to me, like cancerous cat growths.
Well, and for a second I thought like, wait, are they? It looked like they were taped on there, but no, that's just how they animated the light coming off of them.
The thing that got me on that is one, it being hairy on the inside is just kind of, imagine the inside like of you being hairy as well.
Yeah.
That's.
But I don't know, like, what would it be better if it was leathery? I don't know that there's a good answer for that.
Oh, I don't know. I don't either. But what they came up with, slightly disturbing. But also, there is a spot in Ghibli Land. They have a Ghibli tour you can go to in Japan, where you can crawl through the cat bus. Children can, but it's all like fluffy and nice and whatever. And I'm not a kid anymore, so I can't really connect to that, because to me that just seems, one, how dirty it must be on the inside, but then two, like, you're inside of a cat and its hair. It's like desiccated. It's like a cat got eaten from the inside out by some kind of like bug or something after it died, and you're like, oh cool, let's go inside there and have a whimsical adventure.
Yeah, almost if it was more bus-like, that would be comforting. You know, like,
yeah,
if it
right?
actually like had windows and not just like empty spaces where just skin surrounds it.
It is, and I guarantee, if I'd seen this pre-puberty, it would be a magical thing and it wouldn't even occur to me.
Yeah.
Under the first dubs came out in like the early days, so I probably saw this like 95-ish. So it's 15 years old. And Cat Bus was like, ooh.
It's like, oh, have you seen the David Cronenberg movie? You will not be enjoying Cat Bus.
Yeah.
But there was a sort of sequel to this that was May and the Cat Bus. May and the Kitten Bus, 13-minute sequel to My Neighbor Totoro, written and directed by Miyazaki. And Miyazaki does the voice of the granny cat, as well as Totoro in that. It concentrates on the character of May from the original film and her adventures one night with the Kitten Bus, the offspring of the Cat Bus from the film. Which, okay, so the Cat Bus reproduces. Oh, there's other cat-oriented vehicles. Huh. So maybe like, if a cat bus and a cat car get together, you get like a cat station wagon.
Oh, the other kind of major thing that I have notes on in my kind of, going to therapy, doing the work, trying to get some emotional state back. I found myself empathizing with cartoons far more readily than I am prepared to. And Satsuki weeping that maybe she's dead already. Oh, that got me.
Yeah.
That got me bad. Like that, I didn't cry, but I certainly got like a little welled up of like, oh no, oh, somebody should comfort her immediately.
Yeah, no, I think some of that's just also like getting older. Like I find that I have such more like this paternally reaction to things now.
Fuck you, I'm young and cool.
All right.
I'm just learning how to have emotions.
but I think it is true, and I think that because this movie is dealing with these human beings, like we've watched these kids like run around and have a good time and be cute and whatever, but they feel like actual people, and so when this happens, it's really upsetting.
Well, there's the other kind of upsetting part that it was like beautiful is the town all comes out to look for May, but they're dredging this pool because they found a sandal in it.
Yeah.
And that's real dark if you think about it.
Yeah, like the old woman that they call Granny that watches them is really like losing it about it. Like she's praying, really hoping this doesn't happen. And when they find out it's not her, like the people that were doing it is like, oh, I guess it's not her. Okay, moving on.
Yeah,
which
I mean, great. And then there's the reunion and the grandma being so relieved. It's just so great. Yeah, them dredging it was the grandmother being relieved was so great. But again, in Alex's dark world, is as she's hugging May, you hear a guy in the background going, "Oh, well, we found a body."
Yeah, well,
because somebody's fucking sandal was in that lake.
Yeah, that's horribly upsetting. That thought that because there is this like it's not really explained what that shoe is. It could be something as easy as it got lost a while ago, or like there's a dead kid in a tree, like a little DB Cooper, whose sandal fell down.
Yeah, a little parachuting boy. The other, I mean, we touched on it, but I think it would be worth diving into quickly is when they're picking corn with grandma or picking vegetables, and May gets in her head that corn could cure a mom because it's like And that starts off the whole her going missing, going to the hospital to fix it or whatever. And when she writes for mommy and leaves the corn on the windowsill, like
Yeah.
it's just such an adorable child moment. And it's weird because I mean he's what, 50 at the time, fucking Miyazaki or whatever, like a man in his 40s, and he's writing this perfect kid logic of, well, the other old lady said this would make my mom better, so I'm gonna risk my life to put this corn on a windowsill.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
Yeah, well, I think like going from dredging up stuff from his own childhood, and then having raised a kid or two, probably solidify some of that. Because I do think, like I was saying before, that this has kind of this more adult view of kids, where it lets them be kids. Like May's weird obstinance and just being kind of weird in general. How their whole thing is to just scream at everything and run around, and that, like the argument that this corn is gonna help, and I'm not gonna listen to reason or at all. Just like when May gets brought to school, Satsuki is in the middle of the day, just sees Granny and May, and May's just all upset and wants to hang out with her sister. And so I mean, they let her do it, but just that like her body language around that whole thing, it felt very much like a kid rather than what a character of a kid.
I think that's pretty much all I got on Totoro. To be honest with you.
It's adorable. It's we said it's a very sweet movie. It's a very nice, like, warm blanket cup of cocoa kind of movie. And I like the score by Joe Hisaishi, who's done a ton of Miyazaki stuff, as well as music for like Takeshi Kitano and other Japanese films. And
yeah, the score is great. I was going to bring that up. It sounds like Japanese RPG when you go into like a cool town.
Yeah, there was bits that kind of made me think of, I mean, and this is how backwards I am, but it made me think of Breath of the Wild, and it's like, oh man, I want to play that game again.
Oh yeah, actually, I thought of Breath of the Wild too with the acorns.
Yeah, about those damn Deku nuts or whatever.
Yeah, like those little guys. Yeah. Which turns out they're both from Japan, so it probably makes sense.
Mm-hmm. They probably know each other.
I'm going to give like a really quick wrap up here saying, boy, if you haven't seen My Neighbor Totoro, you should see it. It's a great movie.
Yeah, frankly,
Classic.
like, just watch any of them. But definitely this one is, it's hard to go wrong with Miyazaki, we've learned.
We have learned. And, John, I'm glad to hear to learn it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And what I just said didn't make any sense.
Nope, but I agreed with it. And that's all that matters.
I was trying to say learn it with you, and I said for you.
Look, I think if Joe Rogan has taught us anything, is just spouting a bunch of nonsense, and then one of us agrees with the other one, is gold. That's how you get like 1 billion listens.
Yeah, but have you ever had 5-MeO DMT? See, the thing is that if you put horse paste up your asshole,
that's wild,
it'll
man.
really work. Especially if you go up to that zoo from that movie and you get the horse to do it for you, it's going to work perfectly.
Wow, that's wild. I'm going to go do some push-ups on weed.
But, it's also cool to die at 50, so whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
Recommendations for things that we have watched recently, things we've enjoyed. I'm going to go back to Alex's old, I'm going to bitch about something. When I hesitantly would start to talk about a show, you thought I was going to talk about about the Book of Boba Fett. And now I've watched all the Book of Boba Fett, or at least the first 5 episodes. And it is a piece of shit.
Really?
I love Star Wars. I really do. So this is saying a lot. It is inept storytelling. It is episode 5, and spoiler, I'm going to give it away a little bit. Episode 5 is just an episode of The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian shows up. And John, I want to guess, wild guess, what the best episode of the 5 I've seen is so far.
Oh, probably that one?
Yeah, because it was it was good, and they had a character they developed, and it's oh boy, it is garbage.
Yeah.
And I'm sad for it because it's unoriginal garbage. Like the prequels, at least they were trying for something. So you had that was a big swing and an amazing miss. And then the new movies are kind of like, up until the 7 and 8 were tries, and they were kind of good, in their own way. And then 9 was like the Book of Boba Fett, where it's just like, we're just going to throw Star Wars shit at the screen and these fucking pigs will eat it up. Yeah, just, so disappointing. And the most disappointing thing is I couldn't convince you to watch it with me, so I had someone to hate it with.
I mean, that's
yeah.
kind of a thing for me is that like, and we talked about this already, is that just like, I don't want to know more about Boba Fett. I like it being this thing like in Star Wars, or I mean they do this a bit in Star Trek too, where like we're going to reference something and then not explain what that is. It's just going to be world building. Is that I mean in Star Wars, Boba Fett hides in trash and then falls into a hole, but he does it with elan and flair, and that made him interesting. And like I don't want him explained to me. I'm not that interested. Some of that is also like solidified by it. I mentioned this to you, is the misfortune of having seen the John Turturro vehicle Jesus Rolls, which is a continuation of his character from Big Lebowski, and it's awful. Do not recommend.
Well, the thing with Book of Fett is you're actually giving it slightly more credit than it deserves. They don't even explain who Boba Fett is. They only explain what happens to him after the Rancor and forward.
Mm-hmm. But even
there's no attempt at making like, oh, this is let's show a little bit of his background when he was like the coolest bounty hunter in the world. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I liked what he did in the show, and I'm good with that. You know, like it's neat when he shows up in expanded universe stuff. Like I liked fighting him in both Dark Forces and Shadows of the Empire. But yeah, I'm good with that. I don't need to listen to him talk.
Well, that's my in very heavy quotes recommendation. John, what do you got?
I've been watching getting out of this kiddie stuff. I'd had this recommended to me before. Michael Clayton with George Clooney came out of.
I've heard that's good.
A
I've
few
never
years
seen
ago.
it.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max right now, and it's good. It's like he's a lawyer. He's a fixer. Like he deals with problems that a big law firm has, and there's a lot more to it than that. But he's great. It's just a fantastic cast. Him, Tom Wilkinson, Tilda Swinton is great. Sidney Pollack, who essentially is his character from Eyes Wide Shut. But I always love to see that guy. So I definitely check that one out.
All right, John. For next episode, I'm not going to make a Humpty Dumpty joke and just say we're going to watch The Kingsman, The Secret Service. What's it called?
Yeah, Kingsman.
Is that the first Kingsman? We're watching the first Kingsman. Glad that went so smoothly.
Yep.
So we're going to watch Kingsman, The Secret Service, starring one of the Edgertons, I think, and Samuel Jackson's in it.
There's more than one?
Yeah, there's Ethan and Joel.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know they were related.
Like, I got to tell you the truth. Might be 100% wrong, and I just assume they're related.
You know what? It's now in the show mythos that they are actually related, regardless of whether or not they are.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just Jaws canon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yeah, we're going to do that. We'll catch up with you in 2 weeks. Please remember to go to our Patreon, search for John Alex 8 Stuff, or patreon.com/Alex Bolin, Alex with 2 X's. We got like a whole bunch of extra free episodes. So can't recommend enough that if you put like $5 in, just download everything and immediately cancel. And then you just like get a whole bunch of free shit. Not free, but $5. All right. So we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.